Well, guys, there's another business at hand, and relationships is its own business. And relationships will take more toll on your money than you could ever imagine. And that's why it's important to understand the relationship and business of marriage. And I don't want to get too much into relationships, but I want to talk about the business of marriage. Now, marriage for women is a very selfish thing. And I'm not trying to knock that stuff, but let's be honest. If a man could, we'll get married in a outside on a hill. But as a man, and if you want to save money, because this is what hurts a lot of relationships. One of the biggest problems in relationships is debt. Debt is one of the greatest causes of relationships failing. So, golly, I got to keep switching my hand. Don't mind me, golly. So anyway, what I want to talk about is relationships and how the choices you make with your wife is going to really set the stage and foundation of what kind of marriage you're going to have later on. A lot of people go into relationships with debt. Debt is one of the greatest causes or leading causes of divorce. So what I want to do is not only divorce proof you, but I also want you to be able to give your wife what she wants, but it doesn't have to be right now. You see, what a lot of people don't realize and don't understand is that women have this fairy tale of what they think that day is. Fairy tale wedding, spending all this money on one day. Now, as a businessman, I ask you, is that a smart investment, wasting all your money on one day? One day, spending thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, there used to be a time when we were young. There was always, when I used to ride the bus, I remember I used to ride the bus to work. You would always see the guy who had the cool beeper or whatever, or had some expensive stuff, but he's riding the bus. How do you have the nice telephone if you're riding the bus? And it's the same thing with marriage. How do you invest or waste all that money on one day? See, I always tell guys, a good woman is the kind of woman that's going to tell you, you know what, forget about the big wedding, forget about me showing off in front of my girlfriends. Let's take this money and let's invest it in something that we can look forward to. Let's put it in, I mean, if you're living in an apartment, let's take that money and lease or buy a house. If you're in a house, let's take this money and put it towards our kids' college fund. That's logic. That's money. That's how you handle money. There's a lot of people who don't handle it that way. And then they always wonder why they end up in divorce. And let me tell you where it starts. It starts when you get that engagement ring. You spend all that money on an engagement ring that doesn't mean anything. Then you spend all that money on a wedding ring. And then you spend all that money on engagements, engagement parties, weddings. You got the honeymoon. And then you come back home to debt. You see, a lot of women, and I'm not saying all women, I'm saying a lot of women don't understand that we can't live the same lifestyle that we were living back then when we were single or what have you. And one thing I always tell you, there are different phases in relationships, and you living together should be the phase of looking at money, checking out the bills, looking at the books. A very important thing to do, especially in business. But the business of marriage is a business that a lot of guys screw themselves up in because they invest all this money into her fantasy. It's what she wants. It's, you know, the crystal, the cake, and, you know, I've got to have my day. I've got to spend thousands of dollars on a dress. I'm only going to wear it one time. Now, again, I'm sure a lot of you people sit there and say, well, you know, that's real cheap. How could you say that? That's the most important day of your life. Well, if it's real important, why not just take $2,000, go to Vegas, gamble a little bit and fun, enjoy yourself, and have a wedding at a church, one of those little chapel weddings. But I'm sure anybody that just sit there and grasp their chest and say, oh my God, I would never do that, you're going to be the cause of why your relationship is going to fall apart because of debt. Because it is a selfish thing for someone to take all that money and invest it in one day, knowing there's no return on the investment. And don't tell me this, we're going to live happily ever after, because the divorce rate is so high right now. Facebook, debt, all these things are causing places like Ashley Madison and Backpage to make a lot of money. Why spend the money and waste it? You need to think about the future. It's like chess. You got to think 5 moves ahead, okay? You got to think to yourself, you know what? We're going to have a family. We're going to start a family one day. We got to put this money aside. We got to put money aside for this, this, and this. Someone has to be smart about this, but you also got to check the books. Ladies, you cannot live the lifestyle that you used to have when you're married, and guys, you can't do the same thing. That's what called working together is, especially if you want to start a business. If you want to start a business, you got to find a way to save your money. And that's one thing. The business of marriage is such a great business because they keen on the woman's fairy tale. You can have the fairy tale. This is your day. This is your special day. And all this other stuff. And they've been force feeding women this stuff forever. But if you want to be that guy and you want to save that money, it's very important that you sit there and set the rules, the laws, and codes of not wasting money. You've got to be the logical one here and say, you know what? I don't want to spend all of our hard-earned money on one day where we have to come back to debt. I'm telling you guys, I deal with this all the time. Guys won't listen. The woman cries with the crocodile tears, wants that one special day. He gives her that special day. And what happens is when they come back, she can't live the same lifestyle. They're eating ramen noodles or eating out of a can. They can't go places. They can't go out and do all the things they used to do. And the bills are piling up. And then what happens, it's arguments and fighting, and then it's debt, divorce. And then, guys, you make the worst, then you have made the worst investment. You invested all this money on somebody that you're not even with anymore. How does that work? Bad moving. But what you can do is sit there and be honest with the woman. And when you're in the business of marriage, hurts a lot of businesses also, because not only does it hurt you financially, but you will have some women that feel like you're putting too much attention into the business and not enough time into the relationship. And one thing you got to do is you got to learn how to juggle. You got to learn how to juggle your relationships. You got to learn how to juggle the kids, the relationship, and the business, because all of these things are important. I'm not just saying it in that order. I mean, of course, your kids should be the most important thing to you, but you got to make money. And you're not going to make money if you keep putting it into what we call just throwing your money in the fire, wasting your money. I don't want you to waste your money. I want you to put your money in business smart. But some people don't think about tomorrow. And that's the thing. Wait a second. Come here. It's my ferret. Come here. Come here. Wait, my ferret. Come here. You see my ferret? Hold on. Here she comes. Here he comes. I'm talking business with you. Yeah, here we go. My daughter's ferret. Here we go. Wait, there you go. Wait, and put you on my shoulder. Wait, I'm trying to talk while I got the ferret. Hold on, that's the ferret right here. One of my daughter's gifts. I got her. Hold on. Oops, come here. Wait, what are you doing out? Anyway, what I'm saying is you want to do smart business, and the only way you're gonna do smart business in that cute. Anyway. The business of man, if you want to do smart business, you've got to think about tomorrow. Because if you don't think about tomorrow, nobody else will. And the last thing we want to see, oh man, you don't want to climb. What's up? What's wrong with you? I gotta watch this ferret. The last thing you want to do, you don't want to fall into debt. That's one of the worst things you can do. And that's what I want to talk about. But I've got to go because I got to put this ferret in the cage. I don't know why he's out like that. But say goodbye. Tell people stop getting in debt. You gonna tell them stop getting in debt? Huh? Okay. Anyway, I just want to talk to you guys real quick about the business of marriage, and make sure that you make more wise decisions. Forget about the fairy tale. You can always get married. You can always give her the ring later and stuff like that. But stop wasting your money on bad investments, because if you want to start a business, the business of marriage is something that you need to look out for. Oh, the ferret's biting me. Stop. All right. Anyway, hold on. Wait, get over here. Stop trying to bite me. Anyway, I'm going to go. The ferret's biting me. I got to put this ferret up in this cage. Anyway, I'm Dean. This is the business of marriage. This is part 3. I'm trying to hold this ferret. I'll talk to you guys later.